Good day everyone, we are the Group 2 and we are here to present a report in strategic management. Now let us start by discussing the last part of Module 8, which is the Lesson 6. Lesson 6, Research and Development Issues. Research and Development. Personnel can play an integral part in the strategy implementation. These individuals are generally charged with developing new products and improving old products in a way that will allow effective strategy implementation. Research and development employees and managers perform tasks that include transferring complex technology, adjusting processes to local raw materials, adapting processes to local markets, and altering products to particular tastes and specifications. But the level of management support for research and development is obtained constrained by resource availability. It defines the appropriate time for implementing strategies. Organization depend on the Research and Development Department for the creation of new products and improvement of old products to increase profitability and support the firm's growth. Research and development policies. First, emphasize the product or process improvements. Second, stress basis or applied research. Third, be leaders or followers in research and development. Next, develop robotics or manual type processes. Spend a high average or low amount of money on research and development. Next, perform research and development within the firm or to contract research and development to outside firms. Second, use university research or private sector researchers. It includes activities that companies undertake to innovate and introduce new products and services. It is obtained the first stage in the development process. The goal is typically to take new products and services to market and add to the company's bottom line. Management Information System or MIS issues. Firms that gather, assimilate, and evaluate external and internal information most effectively are gaining competitive advantages over other firms. The process of strategic management is facilitated endlessly in firms that have an effective information system. Issues have 5 moral dimensions: information rights and obligations, proper rights and obligation, system quality, quality of life, and accountability and control. Thank you very much.
Good day, I am Angelica Tolentino and I will discuss the Module 9, which is the Strategy Review, Evaluation, and Control. This chapter presents a framework that can guide managers' efforts to evaluate the strategic management activities to make sure they are working and to make timely changes. Guidelines are presented for formulating, implementing, and evaluating strategies. Lesson 1. The Nature of Strategy Evaluation. The strategic management process results in decisions that can have significant, long-lasting consequences. The best formulated and best implemented strategies become obsolete as a firm's external and internal environments change. Most strategists agree since it is essential, therefore, the strategy evaluation is vital to an organization's well-being. Timely evaluations can alert. On the other hand, there are 3 basic activities in strategy evaluation. First, examining and underlying basis of a firm's strategy. Second, comparing expected results with actual results. And third, taking corrective actions to ensure that performance conforms to plans. Strategy evaluation is needed because success today is no guarantee of success tomorrow. Success always creates new different problems. Complacement or successful organization experience demise.
Strategy evaluation is becoming increasingly difficult within the passage of time for many reasons. Domestic and world economies were more stable in years past. Product life cycles were longer. Product development cycles were longer. Technological advancement was slower. Change occurred less frequently. There were fewer competitors. Foreign companies were weak. And there were more regulated industries. There are other reasons why strategy evaluation is more difficult today, include the following trends. First is a dramatic increase in the environment's complexity. Second is the increase of difficulty in predicting the future with accuracy. Third is the increasing number of variables. Fourth, the rapid rate of obsolescence of even the best plans. Fifth, the increase in the number of both domestic and world events affecting organizations. 6. The decreasing time span for which planning can be done with any degree of certainty. The process of evaluating strategies. Strategy evaluation is necessarily for all sizes and kinds of organizations. Strategy evaluation should initiate managerial questioning of expectation and assumptions, and should stimulate creativity in generating alternatives and formulating criteria of evaluation. Regardless of the size of the organization, a certain amount of management by wandering around at all levels is essential to effective strategy evaluation. Strategy evaluation activities should be performed on a continuing basis rather than the end of special periods of time or just after problems occur. Waiting until the end of the year, for example, could result in a firm closing the barn door after the horses have already escaped. However, some strategies take years to implement consistently. Associated results may not become apparent for years. Successful strategies combine patience with the willingness to promptly take corrective actions when necessary. There always comes a time when corrective actions are needed in a organization.
Next, reviewing basis of strategy. Reviewing the underlying basis of an organization's strategy could be approached by developing a revised EFE matrix and IFE matrix. A revised IFE matrix focuses on changes in the organization's management, marketing, finance, accounting, production, operations, R&D, and management information system strengths and weaknesses, while a revised EFE matrix indicates how effective a firm's strategies have been in response to key opportunities and threats. This analysis could also address some questions as the following. How have competitors reacted to our strategies? Have major competitor strengths and weaknesses changed? Why are the competitors making certain strategic changes? How far can our major competitors be pushed before retaliating? Now let us proceed to measuring organizational performance. Another important strategy evaluation activity is measuring organizational performance. This activity includes comparing expected results to actual results, investigating deviations from plans, evaluating individual performance, and examining progress being made toward meeting stated objectives. Both long-term and annual objectives are commonly used in this process. Criteria for evaluating strategies should be measurable and easily verifiable. Criteria that predict results may be more important than those that reveal what already has happened. Effective control requires accurate forecasting. Many factors such as unreasonable policies, unexpected turns in the economy, unreliable suppliers or distributors, or ineffective strategies can result in unsatisfactory progress toward meeting objectives. Means problems can result from ineffectiveness or not doing the right things, or inefficiency or poorly doing the right things.
Determining which objectives are most important in the evaluation of strategies can be difficult. Strategy evaluation is based on both quantitative and qualitative criteria. Quantitative criteria commonly used to evaluate strategies are financial ratios, which strategists use to make three critical comparisons. First is comparing the firm's performance over different times period. Second is comparing the firm's performance to competitors. And third is comparing the firm's performance to industry averages. Some key financial ratios that are particularly useful as criteria for strategy evaluation as follows. First is return on investment. Second is return on equity. Third is profit margin. Fourth is market share. Fifth is debt to equity. Sixth is earning per share. 7 is sales growth. 8 is asset growth. But some potential problems are associated with the using quantitative criteria for evaluating strategies. First, most quantitative criteria are geared to annual objectives rather than long-term objectives. Also, different accounting methods can provide different results on many quantitative criteria. Third, intuitive judgments are almost always involved in deriving quantitative criteria. Some additional key questions that reveal the need for qualitative or intuitive judgment in strategy evaluation are as follows. First is, how good is the firm's balance of investment between high-risk and low-risk projects? Second, how good is the firm's balance of investments between long-term and short-term projects? Third is, how good is the firm balance of investment between slow-growing markets and fast-growing markets? Fourth is, how good is the firm's balance of investments among different divisions? Fifth is, to what extent are the firm's alternative strategies socially responsible? Sixth, what are the relationships among the firm's key internal and external strategy factors? 7 is, how are major competitors likely to respond to particular strategies?
Lesson 2. The Balance Scorecard. A balance scorecard is a performance metric used to identify, improve, and control a business' various functions and resulting outcomes. The concept of balance scorecard was first introduced in 1992 by David Norton and Robert Kaplan, who took previous metric performance measures and adapted them to include non-financial information. Balance scorecards were originally developed for for-profit companies, but were later adopted for use by non-profits and government agencies. The balance scorecard involves measuring four main aspects of a business: learning and growth, business processes, customers, and finance. Balance scorecard allow companies to pull information in a single report to provide information into service and in addition to financial performance and to help improve efficiencies. Published sources strategy. Published sources of strategic information include periodicals, journals, reports, government documents, abstract, books, directories, newspapers, and manuals. A company website is usually an excellent place to start to find information about a firm, particularly on the investor relations web pages. A number of publications are helpful in evaluating a firm's strategies. For example, Fortune annually identifies and evaluates the Fortune 1000 and the Fortune 50, the largest retailers.
I am Micaela Digilla. Characteristics of an effective evaluation system. Strategy evaluation must meet several basic requirements to be effective. First, strategy evaluation activities must be economical. Too much information can be just as bad as too little information, and too many controls can do more harm than good. Strategy evaluation activities also should be meaningful. They should especially relate to a firm's objectives. They should provide managers with useful information about tasks over which they have control and influence. Contingency planning. A basic premise of good strategic management is that firms plan ways to deal with unfavorable and favorable events before they occur. Too many organizations prepare contingency plans just for unfavorable events. This is a mistake because both minimizing threats and capitalizing on opportunities can improve a firm's competitive position. A basic premise of good strategic management is that firms plan ways to deal with unfavorable and favorable events before they occur. Too many organizations prepare contingency plans just for unfavorable events. This is a mistake because both minimizing threats and capitalizing on opportunities can improve a firm's competitive position. It means that as a course of an action designed to help an organization respond to an event that may not happen, contingency plans can also referred to as Plan B because it can work as an alternative action if things don't go as planned. Auditing. A frequently used tool in strategic evaluation is the audit. Auditing is defined by the American Accounting Association or AAA as a systematic process of objectively obtaining and evaluating evidence regarding assertions about economic actions and events to ascertain the degree of correspondence between these assertions and establishment criteria, and communicating the results to our interested users, preferred according to generally accepted accounting principles GAAP, and whether they fairly represent the activities of the firm. It means that it is to certify that the accounts have been prepared according to the principles of accounting and to see where the financial statements are prepared reflect a true and fair view of the state of affairs of a company.
Lesson 3. 21st Century Challenges in Strategic Management. One very important 21st century challenge for strategic management is being able to capitalize on newly developed technology efficiently and effectively. This challenge involves organizational leaders being able to recognize what new technology would be most pertinent to be incorporated into their organization's operational paradigm. Another component of this challenge involves organizations being able to make it possible for their staff members to be able to utilize this new technology effectively, which will require that organizational leadership select the most effective and efficient training methodologies for the utilization of this new technology. The three particular challenges or decisions that face all strategies today are: first, deciding whether the process should be more an art or a science. Second, deciding whether strategy should be visible or hidden from stakeholders. And third, deciding whether the process should be more top-down or bottom-up in their firm. Let us now proceed to the first challenge in strategic management: the art or a science issue. In advocating that this textbook is consistent with the majority of the strategy literature, strategic management should be regarded as a science rather than an art. According to this viewpoint, firms must systematically assess their external and internal environments, conduct research, carefully evaluate the pros and cons of various alternatives, conduct analysis, and then decide on a specific course of action. It is not wise for a strategist to rely too heavily on a gut feeling or opinion instead of research data, competitive intelligence, and analysis in formulating strategies. Next is the visible or hidden issue. Visible or hidden issues are prominent strategies which are important for a business. A manager takes decision along with his team or with the owner about some visible strategies and sometimes the hidden strategies. Keeping strategies hidden from employees and stakeholders in general may severely inhibit employee and stakeholder communication, understanding, and commitment, as well as completely avoid valuable input that these individuals may have regarding the formulation and or implementation of that strategy. As a result, strategists in particular firms must decide for themselves whether the risk of rival firms easily knowing and exploiting a firm's strategies outweighs the benefit of improved employee and stakeholder motivation and input. Most executives agree that some strategy information should be kept confidential and that steps should be taken to ensure that such information is not disseminated outside the inner circle. There are certainly good reasons to keep the strategy process and strategies themselves visible and open rather than hidden and secret. There are also good reasons to keep the strategy hidden from all but top-level executives. Strategists must decide for themselves what is best for their firm. This text comes down largely on the side of being visible and open. But certainly, this may not be the best for all strategists and all firms. And the last is the top-down or bottom-up approach. Top executives, according to proponents of the top-down approach, are the only people in the company with the collective experience, acumen, and fiduciary responsibility to make key strategy decisions. Bottom-up advocates, on the other hand, argue that lower and middle-level managers and employees who will be implementing that strategies must be actively involved in the strategy formulation process to ensure their support and commitment. Strategists must target a balance between the two approaches in the way that is best for their firms at the time, while keeping in mind that current research supports the bottom-up approach, at least among U.S. firms. Increased education and workforce diversity at all levels are reasons why middle and lower level managers as well as non-managers should be invited to participate in the firm's strategic planning process to the extent that they are willing and be able to contribute.
The three sections of this chapter are business ethics, social responsibility, and sustainability. These topics are quite related. The first one is business ethics. It can be defined as principles of conduct within organizations that guide decision-making and behavior. The second one is social responsibility. Refers to actions an organization takes beyond what is legally required to protect or enhance the well-being of living things. And last is sustainability. It refers to the extent that an organization's operations and actions protect, mend, and preserve rather than harm or destroy the natural environment. Therefore, business ethics, social responsibility, and sustainability issues are interrelated and impact all areas of the comprehensive strategic management model. Lesson 1, entitled Business Ethics. Business ethics as principles of conduct within organizations that guide decision-making and behavior. Good business ethics is a prerequisite for good strategic management. Good ethics is just good business. Bad ethics can derail even the best strategic plans. A rising tide of consciousness about the importance of business ethics is sweeping the United States and the rest of the world. Strategists such as CEOs and business owners are the individuals primarily responsible for ensuring that high ethical principles are espoused and practiced in an organization. All strategic formulation, implementation, and evaluation decisions have ethical ramifications.
Good day everyone, I am Bea Biancadosin and I'll be discussing Code of Business Ethics. Code of Business Ethics is a new wave of ethics issues related to product safety, employee health, sexual harassment, AIDS in the workplace, smoking, acid rain, affirmative actions, waste disposal, foreign business practices, cover-ups, takeover tactics, conflicts of interest, employee privacy, inappropriate gifts, and security of company records has accentuated the need for strategies to develop a clear code of business ethics. Meaning, a code of ethics in business is a set of guiding principles intended to ensure a business and its employees act with honesty and integrity in all facets of its day-to-day operations and to only engage in acts that promote a benefit to society. Also, it is usually in a written form. It is a document that outlines the core values and ethics of a business professionals must live by. Next, an ethics culture. An ethics culture to permeate organizations to help create an ethics culture. This means ethical culture can be defined as a set of experiences, assumptions, and expectations of managers and employees about how the organization prevents them from behaving unethically and encourages them to behave ethically. The third one is bribes. Bribery is defined by Black's Law Dictionary as the offering, giving, receiving, or soliciting of any item of value to influence the action of an official or other person in discharge of a public or legal duty. The term bribery means to give gifts of money in cash or kind to someone in order to persuade them to make favorable and biased decisions for business gains. In the U.S., bribery is considered an unfair business practice and is therefore illegal. However, in many countries, bribery may not be considered corrupt and is viewed as the normal way business is conducted. Lastly, love affairs at work. Sexual relations between a supervisor and an employee are considered a de facto conflict of interest, which must be resolved to avoid favoritism. An affair at work can refer to any relationship between two of your employees. This includes extramarital affairs in the workplace. Any workplace romance, extramarital or not, can damage workplace morale or productivity.